Hi, and welcome to the Carnivore Stories podcast with me, Alyssa Grubner. The carnivore way of eating completely changed my life, and it's stories just like the ones you'll hear on this podcast that encouraged me to keep going every step of the way. I hope you're ready to hear an inspirational carnivore story. I know I am, so let's get into it. All right, this is episode 6 of the Carnivore Stories podcast. Today I am joined by Jessalyn Randle, a military wife living in Okinawa, Japan. Wow. Jessalyn has a YouTube channel at Carnivore Revolution, and you can find her on Instagram at Jessalyn, Jessalyn.Randle, Randle, where she is the host of the Beyond Meat series.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you for making time for me and I don't know what time you usually get up in the morning, but thanks for fitting me in.
Yeah, no, I'm usually up around like 5:36.
Okay, me too. Cool. All right, so can I call you Jess?
Yes, please.
Okay, I saw that on Instagram. I was like, wait, maybe I can call you Jess. I wanted to check. Okay, so I want to start off with you giving some background about your life and your lifestyle before finding carnivore.
Okay, so my life before carnivore, like directly before carnivore, was just gluten-free and eating healthy. And before before gluten-free, I was just basically standard American and had a ton of health issues. I was sick constantly. Growing up, I was always in the doctors, and you would just prescribe me like a Z-Pack. I don't know how many Z-Packs I've had in my life. And no doctor could ever really figure out what was wrong with me, why I was always sick. One doctor said that maybe I'm lactose intolerant, so I started drinking goat's milk, but that didn't help. And then it was all like gut issue. And like looking back, I know now it was all gut. And I was constantly bloated and just like chubby, and I couldn't lose weight no matter how much I worked out, how many sports I played. I was very active, but I always just had this like bloated stomach that was really painful to even touch. And I would only go number 2 once every 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So for like 19 years of my life, I was doing that, and it was painful and just so hard, so difficult. And then when I was 19, I went to, I believe it's called homeopathic, or the doctor where it's like not a medical doctor. Yeah. So
yes.
I went to one of those doctors, and like one of those like new agey weird doctors that feel like that have the stigma. And basically found out through working with him that I'm gluten intolerant. And so I cut out gluten and lost 20 pounds in like 2 weeks or something like that. It was crazy. Just all the literal shit inside of me.
Wow.
And so that was 19, and going gluten-free definitely helped a lot, but I still would have gut issues, and I still had really bad acne, and I still had really bad like mental, I don't want to say mental issues, but I had anger issues definitely. And I couldn't control my emotions. I had a really hard time controlling my emotions. And then when I was 29, I was working out all the time, still wasn't really losing weight. I was just kind of like maintained where I was at, but I knew I still had weight to lose. And my husband started researching for me, basically. I didn't even know that he was researching, and could see that I was really frustrated. And he found the Sean Baker, Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, good husband.
Yeah, because I was just like, I thought it was genetics. Like I thought this was how it was going to be, that there was just something wrong with me. And I worked out and didn't lose weight. And my anger issues were just learned behavior from my childhood. So like, I just thought that this is the hand I've been dealt. And he started researching because he's smarter than me, and I actually looking into it, and he showed me the podcast, and at that point I just said to myself, it went against every single thing I'd ever heard or ever been taught. But at that point I was just like, what do I have to lose? Like, I've tried so many things, nothing's worked. I might as well try this. Like, what do I really have to lose? So I did.
Wow.
I did, what's it called? The January, the month, the World Carnivore Month.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did.
Not Veganuary.
No. So January 2020, I did World Carnivore Month. And after that I was sold. And it's just, I have no gut issues as long as I stay on carnivore. Because like in the beginning, I was really strict that month. And then I started to like deviate afterward, and my health issues started coming back. So as long as I'm strict carnivore, I don't have gut issues. My skin cleared up. It's clearer than it ever has been since I was like in 5th grade. Like, and my anger issues are, no, I don't want to say completely resolved, but like 90% better. Like it's crazy, the mental impact that carnivore has. Like, I think that's been the most mind-blowing part of it for me.
Yes. Okay. That is awesome. Yeah, I would agree that the mental part, that's something that I didn't expect to have such a change, but it's like I'm a different person. Like I literally feel like I kept the body, like the good parts of the body, not the illness, but I got like a new brain and everything.
Yeah, because I initially went into it just kind of hoping for weight loss. Like that was my motivation, because I really had zero understanding of the connection between nutrition and your mental health. So I really just thought that was like genetic, just something that ran in my family. So it was such a welcome surprise that was one of the side effects of carnivore.
Yes, yes. One of those good side effects. Yeah, a lot of people do come to carnivore for weight loss. Some of them lose weight, some of them don't. But regardless, everyone that stays because of those side effects. That's those good side effects. Um, so you jumped right in. You were gluten free
Yes.
right before. Did you have any adaptation issues, any problems adapting to carnivore in that first month?
I didn't really, because I know that a lot of people get like diarrhea and stuff, but I think it was since I was so prone to constipation that it didn't affect me like that at all. I've never had an issue with diarrhea in my life. It's always just been the exact opposite. And
Okay.
yeah, so, and before carnivore 2, when I was gluten free, I still didn't really eat a lot of like gluten free things. Like on the weekends we would have pizza. Like on Friday nights we would have gluten-free pizza, but throughout the week I was mostly eating just like rice, veggies, chicken. I was trying to be healthy. So I think that also helped my transition too, because I wasn't going directly from SAD to carnivore. So I really didn't get any negative side effects of carnivore. They all have been pretty positive.
Awesome. That's awesome. So how long have you guys been in Japan?
So my husband got here a little bit before me, but I've been here since December. So
Okay.
yeah, so not quite a year yet.
Okay. All right. So what's it like shopping for meat in Japan? What compared to the States?
So it's definitely, you have to be strategic with it, I guess you'd say. Like you have to search for it. Like
Mhm.
just that's a lot of things too, just overall. You don't realize how convenient everything is in the United States until you leave the United States. There is a US commissary on the military base here that we do go and shop at, but since everything
Okay.
comes from the United States, it's really, really expensive because it's like not only the
Mm.
United States, but they have to like ship it here. So we don't get we get bacon there because there's not normal bacon in Japan, I guess. Like, I don't know if that's just an American thing, but they
Okay.
don't have like cured bacon, like what we're used to.
Yeah.
So we buy our bacon at the commissary, but then pretty much everything else we get from a butcher that my husband found that is by us. And so we go to like this little like alley. It's really cool. You like park on the street and you have to like walk down this like back alley and there's no sign or
Uh-huh.
anything. And you just like walk in this like it's a literal hole in the wall, and then there's like
Okay.
a butcher shop inside. And the guy, we've gotten to know the Japanese guy that runs it, and he's really nice. And so we go there
Oh,
about once
cool.
every 2 weeks, and we get our steaks from him and stuff like that.
Okay. Is your husband carnivore also?
No, he is, I would say he's probably like 80 to 90% just meat. When
Okay.
he's home, he eats what I eat. So he's really good with just eating meat. But when he has to leave,
Mhm.
he can't really like pick and choose what he's going to eat. It's like you get what you get. So
Right.
it's mostly just carbs and sugar. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay.
but he definitely supports it and understands it, but he just with his job it just makes it difficult to be super strict carnivore.
Yeah, I can understand that. So does the butcher know like that you're just eating meat? That
No, no.
okay.
So I don't think the concept of carnivore, I don't think Japanese people really can grasp the concept of carnivore.
Okay.
As far as I've seen, like we
Mm-hmm.
went to McDonald's. Like, so if we're ever in a pinch, there's McDonald's around, so we can go get burger patties. And I typed on my phone, like translation, I was like, only meat, like meat only, meat only. And
Mm-hmm.
they didn't understand what I was asking. And I was like, I pointed at something on the menu and I was like, no bun, no lettuce, no cheese. And I was like saying no, no. And it just like, it's just a very foreign concept. And it's like that a lot of places in the United States too.
Yeah.
Because the carnivore still is like pretty new and weird to a lot of people. So when we do go to like McDonald's around here, the best we can do is just like get meat and then they still put the bun on it. They're like, surely you need the bun. So we
Mm-hmm.
just have to
Yeah.
take the off and eat. Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
that's like, so like I can eat that. Like, so I'm not the kind of like gluten intolerant where I'm so sensitive that
Mm.
like if bread touches something, I get a reaction. I have to like actually ingest it. That's why I don't really think I'm
Okay.
celiac. I just like can't digest gluten. Uh,
Mm. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So your husband introduced you to carnivore, so he's cool with it. What about other family and friends? What have they thought about this?
So my family, I'm not extremely close with like my extended family, but my
Okay.
parents, when I first told them what I was doing, I'm sure they thought I was completely insane, but they never ever made me feel that way. And they were always really supportive, and they trust me. So they never made me feel crazy. And they just kind of like listened to what I was saying. And then they slowly watched what was happening with me. And then my dad, his doctor, he was actually diagnosed like diabetic, and his doctor thinks
Oh.
put him on a keto diet and told him to start doing keto to reverse his diabetes. Yeah.
Oh, good
So
doctor.
yeah. Thank the Lord that my dad's doctor is
Mm-hmm.
on the right track with that one. So so after listening to me just like constantly talk about carnivore because I was so excited about it, and then my dad's doctor on top of that telling him to eat more meat, they kind of slowly came around, and my parents are actually eating more of a carnivore diet with like some fruits and vegetables here and there. And my dad reversed his diabetes and lost
Nice.
I think like 30 pounds, like over 30 pounds or something like that. My mom's lost 20 pounds. So it's helped them so much too. And my extended family and stuff, it's harder for them to grasp the concept. My friends, they kind of just smile and nod, but don't really make any changes. So yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. That's so awesome that your dad had those health benefits, and your mom, the weight loss too. That is amazing. I love it. Just makes my day. Whenever I hear about somebody getting better on a ketogenic type diet, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
the world has hope.
Yeah. My dad has gout or had gout. I don't know what you would say, but so growing up, my whole entire life, all the doctors told him to stay away from red meat. And my dad has a sweet tooth, so he would still eat sugar, but we never ate any red meat. The only time, like, I don't remember ever really having steak growing up. We would just have burgers. Like that was the only time I had beef in my life. Other than that, we had chicken, fish. We didn't really eat pork. So he always thought, stay away from red meat, stay away from red meat. So when I was telling him about carnivore, that's what he would always say is, well, I can't do that because I can't eat red meat. And I was trying to tell him like, no, you can. It's not the meat, it's the sugar. Yeah. And then when his doctor encouraged him to eat more meat, he was like, oh, you mean I could have been eating steak my whole entire life?
Yeah, really. Wow, that's really interesting. So has his gout improved then since?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's had a flare up since. I think the only time since he's like started this that he's had a flare up is when he eats more sugar. Like if he slips and has some sweets. Yes. But yeah, it's definitely helped him. Red meat definitely isn't the cause of gout.
Yeah. Well, my dad, he's had gout since I was a kid too, and he has these flare-ups. He does not eat a lot of meat. He likes to boast that he's like 90% vegetarian. I'm like, Daddy, that's not a great thing. But he still has these flare-ups, and I believe it's because of all the sugar he eats. And so now I'm coming after him, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be like, hey, you should really give this a try. I hope he can come around one day because I feel like it would really improve so many things with his health.
So one thing I noticed with my dad is that I had to provide other people saying things for him. If that, like I don't know if you've read the book by Benjamin Bickman, Why We Get Sick.
No, I haven't. It's on my list. It's on my list.
So I got that. And because before, like how I told you, my husband came here before me. So while he was here, I was living with my parents, and I bought that book, and I literally would read it aloud to them, just reading it. And that like helped like their understanding, because it was an actual expert or an actual doctor thing, not just their daughter. And then I would show him YouTube videos. Like I would show him Ken Berry YouTube videos, and now he's on his phone and he like looks up these videos on his own and everything. So it like providing other voices, not just my.
Yes, I think a big thing with my parents is, I mean, they wiped my butt, and they fed me bottles. So I feel like in their mind, I will always be a little baby who poops on herself and needs to drink. So they're like, what does she know?
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, definitely. I have been able to get my mom into Kinberry. So so she's learning more, and I think she's gaining more confidence. But when people are told their entire lives, meat is bad for you, it's going to do this and this and this and this. And she has issues with her blood pressure. And that's something I struggled with. And I'm like, Mama, it's not just because I'm young why I was able to resolve my blood pressure issues with this. It's because it works. And
Mhm.
so I send her all types of stuff. And I think she's coming around. I feel like
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah. I don't like that excuse when people are like, oh, you're young, that's why. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not that young. I mean, I'm gonna be
Uh-huh.
30 in August. And then
Okay.
plus parents, like there's plenty of like older generations trying this, seeing amazing results.
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't like that
Yeah.
excuse.
Yeah. That's like the worst excuse when I hear that. All right. So you said you are strict carnivore. So are you having dairy, or like what do you normally eat?
Okay, so my carnivore diet is animal products,
Okay.
uh, like any type of meat. I eat the meat that I like, but I'm not against eating any
Mm-hmm.
type. And then like organs and stuff. I eat eggs. I do have dairy, but it's mostly heavy cream and butter. I
Okay.
I used to love cheese and crave cheese, but then just a few months ago, I just stopped wanting it. And
Mm.
so I just stopped eating it. And the only
Yeah,
time I
your
eat,
body was like, oh, enough of that.
yeah. So the only time I eat it now is really when Serena and I make recipes for our YouTube channel, because a lot of the
Okay.
recipes incorporate cheese. But if I'm
Okay.
just eating my own, it's just like meat, salt, water, and then I do drink decaf coffee.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, what does your typical day of eating look like? How many meals a day? What are you eating?
So since the beginning of carnivore, I kind of would eat like twice a day. And eating twice a day was kind of what I did before that too. So it was just natural. But recently again, I don't know. I just stopped. I just haven't been as hungry lately. So for like the
Mm-hmm.
past or so, like really recently, I've been just doing OMAD, like one meal a day. And
Okay.
it wasn't a plan. It's not for,
Yeah.
I'm not fasting or which
Right.
I do like intermittent fasting. My body responds really well to intermittent fasting. So when I would eat 2 meals a day, it would be between like noon and 6. But
Okay.
yeah, I think maybe it's the heat that
Yeah.
I just don't want to eat as much because it's just so hot outside. So I've just been doing
Mm-hmm.
like OMAD, and then like if I get hungry later in the day, I have like bacon or prosciutto or something, and I'll snack on that.
Yeah.
Uh, but so yeah, that's my typical day. Is just like I usually and I I used to eat eggs every day too. Like eggs and bacon were like my morning or like my first meal of the day.
Mm.
And then the same thing with cheese and stuff. I just kind of just stopped wanting eggs all of a sudden. So I haven't really been
Yeah.
eating in the morning, except every once in a while I will pour like raw yolks over my food. And I do like that.
Okay.
But so I just kind of like listen to my body and just kind of, I don't have a plan. There's,
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I saw in your story today that you were pouring, was that raw egg yolk that you're
yeah,
okay. And
yeah.
so
Oh,
is it room I've been wanting to try that out, but I'm like, I don't know, because I can be kind of funny about temperatures. Is the yolk room temperature when you do that, or is it cold?
so I, yesterday at least, I was making bacon in the oven. So
Uh-huh.
while I was cooking, because I made ground brisket and then I put cold butter on top of the hot ground brisket. And then I cracked my egg yolks into this like little thing and I put it on the stove just to like heat it up a little. So that yesterday
Okay.
it wasn't like cold egg yolks. But yeah, usually I just like, I don't know, I'm not extremely picky about it, but yesterday I did put it on the stove and made it, not, it wasn't hot by any means, but like it wasn't cold.
Okay. Okay. Nice. All
Yeah.
right. So what's a carnivore food that is like your favorite, or it's like a splurge? You don't have it often, but when you think about it, your mouth is just like, oh.
So my all-time favorite carnivore food is ground beef. I love ground beef. I think I could, yeah, I
Okay.
love, and, but then the splurge that I love is ground lamb. I love lamb
Okay.
burgers, but ground meat for some reason, because even ground pork I really like too. So there's something about ground meat that I really, really like, but ground beef, I
Wow.
think eat for the rest of my life and be happy.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. So circling back to Japan, you're in Okinawa, Japan. This is a
Yes.
blue zone.
Yes.
In America, there's a lot of vegan propaganda, and we often hear, oh, in Okinawa, Japan, it's a blue zone. They don't eat a lot of meat. It's mostly vegetables. Is there a lot of vegan propaganda there? Are they trying to push people to give up their meat?
No, I don't really see any kind of veganism here. And I mean, maybe there is, and maybe I just don't know because it's in Japanese. But as far as I
Uh-huh.
know, I don't really see a lot of veganism here. There's one restaurant that I've ever seen, and it that says has vegan options, and like that's the most that
Okay.
I've seen. And
Okay.
but other than that, people here eat, like from what I've seen, they eat a ton of meat and rice and carbs. It's more like
Hmm.
carbs than meat than I don't actually
Yeah.
see like it's not heavy vegetable, if that makes sense. It's like a lot of,
Okay.
and and they're like pastries and stuff like that. And then
Okay.
meat. Like we were really pleasantly surprised because I was nervous about that when we moved here. But there's plenty of steak restaurants, plenty of like Japanese barbecue, and just meat is definitely you can find meat here like when you're eating out and
Okay.
stuff. It was a little different in mainland. It was a little harder to find meat in mainland, but it's still
Mm.
there wasn't much like veganism, I don't think, in mainland as far as I could tell.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you are a fitness enthusiast.
Yes. I am.
How have you been able to keep up your workouts since being in Japan? Are you going to a gym, or do you mostly work out at home?
Yeah, I we do have a spare room that we put all of our workout equipment in, so we have kind of like a little home gym here. But I live really close to a military base. It's about like 2 miles away from our house. So if I ever do want to go to the gym, I just walk down there. Um,
Okay.
or if my husband's home, we'll drive down there and go work out together. But yeah, I I like the home gym, but yeah, sometimes you just need to go to like a real gym, but it's super close. It's accessible, and
Okay.
it's never really that busy.
Okay. Have you noticed that becoming a carnivore has improved your fitness, or added anything to your workouts, added or taken anything away from your workouts?
Yeah, so that's like a big complaint that a lot of people have is like when they go carnivore, they're like, my workouts aren't as great. And
Mm.
I never really felt like a dip in energy as far as like my workouts went or anything. But granted, before carnivore, I was drinking like a full bang. Like we would go get bangs like every single day
Okay.
and drink it before the gym. And I was definitely eating sugar and stuff like that. So, but then
Yeah.
with carnivore, there's not really like I haven't had a dip in energy. And like the weird thing that I've noticed with carnivore and working out is like I don't have this like crazy spike like adrenaline rush It's kind of like a sustained energy. And even if I'm like not extremely motivated to go work out, or I kind of feel like, oh, I don't really want to do this. When we go, my body will just kind of like provide me the energy I need.
Yeah.
It's not like a huge spike, but it's not like I'm like pull it out of myself. My body kind of is just like, oh, we're going to do this. Okay. Oh, you want to do heavier? Oh, okay. And it kind of just like, just provides me the energy that I need. So it's been really nice. Like, I don't have any complaints.
Yeah. Do you work out? Do you usually work out fasted or fed?
It depends on the time of day, I guess.
Okay.
Because I have a really strict workout regimen. I kind of go, it's again with my food and stuff. I don't have a plan. I just I love working out, so I just go do it, but I don't have like specific like goals set in mind. I just want to go do it because it's fun for me.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, what was your question? I forgot.
If you're working out fasted or fed.
Oh yeah. So if it just depends. Like if I work out before noon, then it'll be fasted. But if we
I get it. Yeah. All right, cool. What about, do you do a lot of resistance training, or is it mostly cardio?
I do, I'll do some cardio. Cardio is not my favorite, but every once in a while I get into these moods where I just do a bunch of cardio. But for the most part, I really like just like weightlifting. And yeah, like I feel like I would probably see a lot better results if I was more strict with it and had a more definite plan. I just am not. I just don't think I'm that kind of person. I'm so bad at just like I can stick with something, but I'm really bad at being like a meticulous planner with things.
Okay.
So I'll have like these moods of like, oh, I want to do just body weight, or I want to do cardio, or I want to go lift really heavy, or I want to lift moderate. So I kind of just like do whatever.
Yeah, I think that is so awesome though, because I feel like that's the whole point. That's how it should be, that you're in love with it and you keep coming back. Not that, you do something one day and then it's a few weeks and you're like, oh, I should work out. I think that's great that you keep coming back to it no matter what it is. And you look great from here. I was gonna say, have you noticed more ease in putting on muscle on carnivore? Or body composition changes?
Yeah, my body definitely is changing. I definitely have lost a lot of fat and have gained a lot of muscle. Like I said, I do think that like I would see even better results if if I had like a strict plan and like I was like, but just with doing things like willy-nilly, I am seeing great results, and and definitely getting like more muscle definition and stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so you have been carnivore for a little over 2 years now, is that right?
Yeah, since January 2020.
Okay, so like 2.5 years. Do you feel like you are carnivore for life? Are you staying for life?
Yeah. So I definitely will always have eat mostly meat. I don't like know what the future holds. I don't want to say like exactly yes or no. Because the foreseeable future, I am going to stay carnivore, because I do know that like I still have like healing. Like I still am not. I've seen great results on carnivore, and as long as I don't deviate from carnivore, I like my skin is clear, my gut is healthy, and everything. But like the second eat something that's not carnivore, it's like those issues come back. So like I know that I have still healing to do. So maybe like if I do it long enough and my gut is healed and all that stuff, I'll like add something back in. But like I don't really particularly miss anything. I'm very satisfied with carnivore. So I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah.
say definitely yes or definitely no, but
Right.
I I have no complaints with carnivore though.
Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty similar. I mean, this has healed like some really big problems for me, so I feel like going forward at the very least, as long as I'm on this earth, I will be very meat heavy.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. All right, so you mentioned that you have improved your gut health. You've
Mhm.
gotten rid of acne. Your mood is so much better. And you lost some weight. You lost weight on carnivore too.
Yeah.
About so how much would you say? What was the weight loss on carnivore like?
I lost around 20 pounds. Um,
Okay.
and so when I was at my lowest, I was like in the one, so when I was like 150, like or 155 around there when I started. And
Okay.
I'm, and then when I started carnivore, I lost weight pretty quickly. And then when I would deviate from carnivore, my weight started going back up. And then I kind of like
Okay.
plateaued and was getting really, really frustrated. So then I was like,
Mm,
I'm just going to be strict. I'm not going to have anything that's not carnivore. And then I also started around that time doing a lot of cardio because I just got on a cardio
hmm.
kick, a ton of like run competitions and stuff, like like where you sign up
Yeah.
for a run. So I started losing weight again pretty quickly, and I was in the 120s. And then now that I haven't been doing as much carnivore and I'm starting to do more like weightlifting,
Hmm.
I'm like the 130s, like mid 130s. So but it's like,
Okay.
yeah, but it's like I think it's muscle. I
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, the lowest I got was like in the 120s. So I lost like about 20 pounds. Um, and then uh and now like floating in like the 130s.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so before coming to carnivore, I was always super hyper focused on my weight. Since being carnivore, like I really don't care. I'm so much more focused on how my body feels and what it looks like because like the weight I'm at now, I've looked really bad at this weight, you know. But I feel like with the body recomp, it really changes things. So the numbers can be kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask that because I feel like some people are going to be like, well, how much weight did you lose?
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what about any other carnivore benefits, maybe smaller ones or other things that you just didn't expect to change, but that it came from changing your way of eating?
Um, I don't. It's a good question. I feel like that's a question where like you can't think of it in the moment, and then like 10 minutes,
Yes.
or I'll be doing something and I'll be like, oh, this is a benefit that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think just like the mental aspect of it is just so beneficial, and I do think that because when I started carnivore, I started like heavily researching and reading a ton of
Hmm.
books on it. And so, and then I started getting into more like sunscreen isn't as good as
Hmm.
I thought, and blue light
Yes.
and grounding.
Right.
So I think that just like being open to carnivore kind of opened me up to these other things that are like crazy or taboo, that
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
like really good benefits. So I would say like that's like a weird like benefit of carnivore is
Hmm.
just it
Yeah.
opens to more to think,
Yes.
hold like that's weird or don't do that or
Hmm.
like So I think that I would probably say that's a benefit of carnivore.
Yeah, I would agree because it's like, okay, well, if everything I thought about what's healthy to eat, if all that's out the window now, what else? What else in my life,
Yeah,
can
yeah, definitely
pull?
questioning things.
Yeah, yeah. And now I'm like, I'm questioning everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jess, we are just about out of time, but I
Okay.
have one more question to ask you. What advice would you give someone who is just starting out on carnivore or just thinking about trying carnivore?
So I think my best advice, what helped me the most, is just reading and listening to as many things as I could, because I truly believe there's a difference between just looking at someone on Instagram or following someone and hearing what they have to say, and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, and maybe you try it and you're like, oh, it didn't really work for me. And
Hmm.
but when you like dive in and read these books and listen
Hmm.
to like the YouTube videos and podcasts and stuff like that, that really helped solidify carnivore for me. Because like in the beginning, I I was convinced, like after the 30 days in January, but then I would have like, I would deviate, like on the weekends, I would drink alcohol and things like that. But then like
Hmm.
the more I started researching, the more I started realizing what those things were actually doing to my body. It wasn't like, oh, I can eat this and it's okay because then I'll just go back to carnivore during the week. Like I actually started like connecting, oh, this is toxic to my body. And the more I started learning that, the
Hmm.
more I was convinced, okay, stop eating sugar, stop drinking alcohol. Those things are slowly killing you. You don't need those. And it really, really helped me just stay strict, stay motivated, and like you said with your mom, it like built my confidence with like, if people try to like come at me, I'm just like,
Hmm.
I know, like I have my personal experience. I So I'm not as uh thrown off, if that makes sense. Because in the beginning, I was like,
Yes.
people would be like, well, you're gonna die of heart disease. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I don't, so, and oh, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, uh, having that, educating yourself really gives you a solid foundation and reminds you why you're doing what you're doing and why it's okay to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, is that, and there's just such a difference too between like picking up a book or like putting it in Audible and like hearing it and learning it with like your own, choosing to do that with
Hmm.
yourself instead of just like having someone like, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's like when you put in that
Yeah.
effort and that actually research and learn it, there's like such a huge difference.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, that is a great piece of advice. Yes. Well, this was so great. I thank you so much for sharing your story. I know someone out there someday is going to listen to this and you're going to inspire them more than you'll ever know.
That's the goal. I think that's the goal for all of us too, is just like try to get
Yeah.
this message out to as many people as possible.
Hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Well, you have a great rest of your day. You're just getting started on Sunday. You're like a futuristic woman. It's like blowing my mind.
Living in the future.
Yes. I'm just here living in the past, finishing up Saturday.
Yeah. No, I will. I'm gonna go to the gym after this.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right. All right. Well, it's so nice meeting you, Jess.
Yeah, nice meeting you too. Thank you so much again. I've really enjoyed like talking with you.
All right. All right. Likewise. Okay. Take care. Bye bye. Till next time. That's it for today. Until next time, stay meaty, stay strong, and stay inspired. Do you have a carnivore story to tell? Connect with me on Instagram at meet MEAT Mrs. MRS Grubs GRUBS, and I will add you to the list. I would love to interview you, and the world needs to know that meat heals.